Now, if you're going to develop this culture and ask your team to be on camera, well, we're going to have to get them comfortable on camera. Now, let me tell you something that drives me crazy. Drives me crazy when I see organizations bring in a video team and they tell their employees, hey, I need you to be on video today, and they essentially just throw them on camera. No bueno. That doesn't work. If you want your team to get frustrated, if you want them to be uncomfortable on camera, just throw them on camera without any training or preparation. But here's what's amazing. With just a little bit of training, you can take someone that isn't particularly confident on camera, and you can get them confident actually quite quickly. Now, there's 3 key rules that I want you to understand and therefore instill within your organization if you're going to have your teammates on camera, okay? So let's go over each one of these 3 rules. They're basic, they're simple, and boy, do they make all the difference. These 3 rules I have been following this entire time I've been shooting these videos. And the first one is what we call the no-stop rule. Say, what is the no-stop rule? Well, the no-stop rule is what I do every time I don't say something perfect or every time I potentially make a mistake. If you notice, well, you don't really notice because we would edit it anyway, but I don't stop. I'm always going. Because here's what happens oftentimes. You put somebody on camera, they think they have to be perfect. And because they think they have to be perfect, they start thinking, well, I better not screw up. Now, as they're thinking they better not screw up, as soon as they screw up, they stop. And if they start thinking about stopping, they start stopping a lot more. It's funny how that works. Whereas, if you have a general rule of no matter what happens, just keep going, keep talking. It's almost like you're watching that reporter on TV, right? That, what's his name? Jim Cantore of the Weather Channel, right? He's in the hurricane, he's blowing over, and he keeps talking because he's Jim Cantore, and he can't stop. But he's following that rule, and anybody that's ever done live TV is doing that rule too. They can't stop. They have to keep going. And so if your mindset is always moving forward, I'm going to do this no matter what, you're going to be more effective. And the other side is this. You have to look at each video you do. It's almost like you're writing a draft. So you remember back in the day when you'd write, let's say, a term paper or an essay. You have your first draft and you have your second draft. What would happen if you started your first draft, you got halfway through, you stopped, and then you did your second draft? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, this is what a lot of people do when they get on camera. And so the key to this is that regardless of messing up, if you have some video that you're going to do where you're explaining a particular product or service or showing something, you want to work all the way through the particular segment. You don't want to stop because as you're doing that, you're working out the kinks and essentially you're writing that first draft. Now, when you're done, if you want to do that second draft, it's fine, but at least you've already said the thing all the way through, thus working out way more of the kinks. When you follow the no-stop rule, you'll find that now you'll gain more and more confidence. But your sales team is doing this right now. Your leadership team is doing it as well. So think about your sales appointments that you've gone on. When was the last time you were on a sales appointment and halfway through the sales appointment you said, I totally jacked this up. Let me just start the whole thing over. That's never happened, has it? Why? Because you can't. You have to keep going when you're doing a sales presentation, when you're doing a demo, whatever that thing is. So you're already doing this within the organization. You just have to start to apply that very same principle, that behavior, when you're on camera. That is the essence of the no-stop rule, and it works very, very well. Now let's look at the second critical rule, which is you can do it again. That's right. You don't have to be perfect because you know there's always the option of doing a second take or a third take. And if you work all the way through those drafts, like we talked about, generally speaking, the second time you do it, you'll be more comfortable. You'll likely, in a more fluid way, be able to get through the entire segment. So you can do it again. Now, I would suggest this, though. If you have an employee, a team member, that has to keep shooting a video over and over again, one of two things is happening. Either they're not following the no-stop rule, or they just don't know enough about the subject matter. And so you want to ask people to talk about that which they know about. So if I was being asked to talk about something very different, like thermodynamics, if that's a thing, on camera, I would not be able to do it in one take. Now, most of the videos that you're watching in this course, I'm going to be able to do in one take. Why? Because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. And because of that, I'm going to work through those little kinks as they happen, and they come across as natural. And you're not going to fault me if I'm not perfect, just like you're not going to fault me in a sales presentation if my communication or my words aren't perfect. So the first rule, again, was the no-stop rule. The second rule is you can do it again. And the third rule is what we call the 3-second smile. You're like, 3-second smile? That sounds kind of cheesy. Well, it's pretty dang important. And that is this. Before you shoot any video, and this could be one-to-one video, as we're going to talk about in another course, or just regular videos when you have a subject matter expert on camera, you want to make sure your entire team of talent is smiling for at least 3 seconds before you start. And you say, why is that? You can probably imagine why that is. Number one, it's hard to be nervous when you're smiling. And so that's why if you watch this, you'll see that I'm smiling most of the time, because when I'm smiling, I am going to communicate naturally better without the nerves. I'm not focusing on messing up. I don't have the negative vibes. I've got the smile. Also, though, the energy that I'm bringing is so much higher. I mean, you want to start your video coming off of the smile, not going into the smile. You don't want to say action and then all of a sudden you smile. No, you want to come off of it. You've already set that tone. You've already got that light shining off your cheeks, and it puts that message of friendliness, of that human, personal way to the viewer, and it makes all the difference. So the point is, when you're shooting videos with your staff, literally say, are we smiling? Are we smiling? 3 seconds hold. Then you start that video, and it's going to make a very big difference. Now, I told you they were simple, and I know you're thinking they're simple, but if you teach these, train them to your team, and then apply them, you're going to start to see that you've got people on staff that are great on camera, and they didn't even know it. Train the fundamentals, and the rest will fall into place.